Whoa! The streaming wars are back. Today we're talking about the all new Bluesound Nano streamer. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about the new Bluesound Nano streamer. This is it, my friends. This is a smaller, stripped down version of the Bluesound streamers. I haven't talked about Bluesound streamers for a while. When the channel first started, the Bluesound streamer family of streamers was probably the most value-laden streamers out there. Now, there has been a company that has come out and started to release a few different products. Wiim. But Bluesound was always the OG when it came to value streamers. The Nano comes in at $299. So now we have a product from Bluesound that is competing, that is coming in at a price close to what the Wiim products are. Take a look around this thing. On this little part right here, you will get power, track forward, track backward. So anyway, there's some LEDs that show up here, and it's touchy. On the back, pretty simple on the back. RCA outs, coaxial out, optical out, hardwire Ethernet, USB for any type of thumb drive, anything like that. Trigger in, trigger out, and right here, something that's very important. This is a 5-volt driven streamer with an external power brick. Some people may think, well, it doesn't have an internal power supply. That kind of stinks. Well, first of all, it comes with its own power brick. Second of all, the Bluesound Node, one of the OGs or the second iteration, has cult status within my Patreon community. One of the mods that people do, which means they actually have to crack this thing open and start to dismantle things inside, is to add a linear power supply. With stock 5-volt power, it means you can get a linear power supply and run the Nano from it and not have to worry about breaking out the screwdrivers and the torches or the torque multiplying bars, cheater bars. You don't have to do that. You can just get a linear power supply with a 5-volt output and plug it right into the back of this. Now, are you going to maintain the warranty? I don't know. Probably not. But I know linear power supplies are very important within my community, and to not have to actually dig into a product to add linear power is a plus. You can also do that with the Wiims, because all of the Wiims have 5-volt power, except for the new Wiim Ultra that does have an internal power supply. Getting this up and running is pretty straightforward. You have to download the Bluesound app if you're not already in the ecosystem. And if you're looking at the Bluesound Nano, chances are you probably already have other products on the Bluesound ecosystem. But if you don't, you have to download the Bluesound app. Very straightforward and easy. I already had the app download, so I just opened it up. Add device. It saw the device. I connected. It asked me for permission to get on my Wi-Fi network. I did, and bada bing, bada boom. It was on my network. This works off of Tidal Connect. It works off of Spotify Connect. It also has its own app, which means you can add a cacophony of different streaming services. You just have to enter your credentials when you get in there. I was actually running this from Tidal Connect. So I was doing Tidal Connect to the Bluesound Nano, and then I would do Tidal Connect to the Wiim Ultra, which incidentally, that video just went up yesterday. It's streamer week. It's like Shark Week, except with streamers here at the Cheap Audio Man. Streamer week. About the same size as a Wiim Pro. The Wiim Pro comes in about $150. If you get the Wiim Pro Plus, that comes in around $170 or $200. Bluesound Nano, much heavier than the Wiim Pro. Wiim Pro also can take an optical in and a RCA in or an analog in. This is output only, so you're not connecting any analog devices to the Bluesound Nano. Within the app, you have access to tone controls. You have access to changing things like if you want your speakers in mono for whatever reason, which is actually a really good tool for me and for you if you're ever testing out a new speaker. So what you do is you put it in mono and then you hook up one speaker to the left channel, one speaker to the right channel, and then you just listen back and forth with the balance and see which speaker you like. There's a bunch of other things in the app. You can level the track gains because sometimes when a new track comes on, it's at a much different level. You can fade in, you can fade out. But since this doesn't have a subwoofer output, there's none of the bass management features that you have on the Bluesound Node or the Bluesound Node, whatever. Also, there's two other Bluesound products that came out, one of which has a screen. So there's basically the new Nano, a Node replacement, and then like the Node Premium replacement that has a screen. Okay. From a sound perspective, I compared this to the Wiim Ultra. Inside the Nano, you have a Sabre 9039 Q2M. In the Ultra, you have a Sabre 9038. I didn't think there was going to be that big of a difference, if any difference at all. But I was surprised that there was. I actually preferred the sound coming from the Nano more than the sound coming from the Wiim Ultra. I thought it was punchier and cleaner. I do think that the Wiim Ultra had a little bit more air going on, but was covered up in the mids a little bit more, or a lot bit more, than the Nano. I was listening to Rocket Man from Elton John, and for me, the takeaway was, I preferred the sound out of the Nano. If you have an external DAC, none of that really matters if you're going to be using the external DAC because both of these have digital outputs. But I think the Nano sounds better than the original Node that I had in. That comes in at a lot more money. And I think it sounds better than the Ultra. What are my final thoughts? Bluesound, I am so glad that you came out with this product because it was needed. With Wiim coming out and kind of kicking down everybody's door, Bluesound really needed a product that was more affordable. And at $300, if one is already in the Bluesound ecosystem, I think it's a no-brainer if they want to add another system. It also comes within swinging distance of a lot of the Wiim products. The Bluesound Nano is better built, or at least it feels a lot more solid than the Wiim Pro, but it is going to struggle to compete with the Wiim Ultra when it comes to feature set. If you only want to stream music, then the Nano is a great option, and I think it sounds better than the Wiim Ultra and the Wiim Pro and the Wiim Pro Plus. But what I think sounds better may not be what you think sounds better. There's a ton more options with the Ultra. There's a ton more options with the Wiim Pro that comes in at half the price. The Wiim Pro Plus that comes in $100 cheaper. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Bluesound Nano. You're not going to get Apple Music with it, but you don't get Apple Music with the Wiim products either, so it doesn't really matter. I am glad that Bluesound is doing a refresh and adding a streamer with the screen because I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about the Eversolo DMP A6 and the FIO, whatever it is. I don't like those streamers because they're Android-based streamers. I'm not saying that you are wrong if you like Android-based streamers. I'm saying I'm too dumb to use them. I'm not smart enough in my head to use an Android-based streamer. I like simplicity. That's why I like Cambridge streamers. That's why I like Bluesound streamers. That's why I like Wiim streamers. They have their own app. I don't have to go into some weird, unfamiliar Android-based system. I just pull up an app, push the music I want, and listen to it. Bluesound is kind of like the next tier above Wiim. I think it sounds better. I was actually surprised because one of the criticisms of one of the OG nodes was that it didn't have a great DAC and didn't measure well. Well, from a sound perspective, from a sonics perspective, I think the Nano sounds awesome. I think it's a great product. However, if you're after a little bit more functionality and you want to save some money, the Wiim products are out there. If you just want to stream music and you're already in the Bluesound ecosystem, I think the Nano is a great choice. Hard to compete with the Wiim Ultra though when you have bass management, subwoofer out, HDMI input, all that stuff. But I don't want to take anything away from the Nano because I think it's a great product and I think it's a product that Bluesound really needed. At this point, I think I'm beating a dead horse. Bluesound Nano, very awesome. If you want to check out my video on the Wiim Ultra, I will link it right here or here. Like and subscribe.